Yeah, that's how it all kicked off. Right there in that moment. The slap. I can still feel the heat of it on my face. Not from the pain, but from the shame. Let me take you back. Exactly 7 minutes before I put that sorry excuse for a man into the dirt. It was a Saturday. Family cookout day, something I'd been planning for weeks. The twins, Dakota and Inoli, were 6, sitting cross-legged in front of the television watching cartoons. I was out back firing up the grill, burgers, ribs, even that fancy corn salad Aida pretended to like just to be polite. And her, my wife, she acted like she didn't belong there, like she was just visiting someone else's life. She sat on the patio, glued to her phone like her real family lived inside the screen. And the dress she had on? Fire red. Tight. The kind of thing I hadn't seen since our anniversary 4 years ago. It was made to turn heads, and I wasn't the one she wanted turning mine. Babe, I said, trying to keep it light. Maybe something a little less nightclub? She looked up at me like I was something stuck to her windshield. Do not start, Noden, she snapped. I told you, we're expecting company. Company? Before I could say another word, the doorbell rang. I opened it, and there he was. 6'4", built like he lived in a weight room. Shirt too tight, designer knockoff. Teeth so white they looked fake. Tattoos snaking up his neck. He did not shake my hand. Just breezed right past me into my house like he paid the mortgage. Aida lit up like a firecracker. This is Delson, she said, practically glowing. He's a friend. A friend? The kids didn't know him. I sure didn't. But he made himself comfortable anyway. Sat right down on my couch, kicked off his shoes, and threw his feet on the coffee table like he owned the place. 15 minutes later, I was pouring drinks. Aida was laughing hard. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard from her in years. And definitely not with me. Delson leaned over, whispered something in her ear. She slapped his chest and giggled. I felt my grip tighten on the bottle. Then he stood up. Right there in front of my boys, he walked over to me and said it, word for word. You're done, bro. I'm the man of the house now. I blinked. Come again. He looked at Aida. She said nothing. Not a single word. Just stood there, chest out, like some damn queen proud of her champion. Then it happened. A slap. Right across my face. Open palm. In front of my sons. I froze. My body wouldn't move, but inside, everything boiled. I looked at Dakota and Inoli. Their faces twisted up, confused. Afraid. And Aida? She just stood there with that wicked little smirk on her face. Like this was something she planned. I snapped. I tackled that bastard so hard we crashed through the coffee table. Glass exploded everywhere. My fists didn't stop. I felt bones crack. His, not mine. I heard him cry out when I wrenched his wrist until it popped like a dry stick. Aida was yelling now. Noden, stop. Are you insane? Delson. Paramedics got there fast. She must have had them on standby. They hauled him out, face a bloody mess, wrist shattered. Cops came too, but the neighbors had my back. They saw what happened. They saw who started it. I stood there afterward, shirt torn, knuckles bleeding, heart racing like a freight train. Aida looked at me like I was the monster. You've ruined everything, she hissed. I looked at her, really looked, and realized I did not recognize the woman standing in front of me. I did not see my wife. I saw a stranger. I wanted to scream, wanted to demand answers. But all I said was, how long? She blinked. What? How long has he been the so-called man of this house? Her smugness cracked. The kids were silent, still frozen in place. I had no words for them, not yet. But I knew one thing. This was not just betrayal. This was war. And it had only just begun. The house was dead quiet after they took him away. Too quiet. The kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. The boys had gone upstairs. I heard Inoli sobbing behind his bedroom door. I wanted to go to them, tell them everything would be okay. But I could not even lie to myself like that. Aida sat on the edge of the couch. Arms folded. Face hard. Not a drop of guilt. No fear. Just irritation, like I had messed up her dinner plans. I paced the living room like some caged animal. My hands still throbbed from turning that poser into pulp. What is this, Aida? I asked. How long's it been going on? She rolled her eyes. Do not be so dramatic, Noden. You are acting like some wounded puppy. I am the one who got stabbed in the back. She stood, brushing imaginary dust off her dress. You have been boring for years. I needed more. More. That word hit harder than the slap. I walked over to the fireplace and picked up an old photo, our honeymoon in Big Sur. She was smiling like the world was hers. I looked like a man too and loved to see the knife behind her back. So what? Bringing him here was part of the show. You wanted to humiliate me? In front of our sons. She shrugged. He wanted to meet them. We were thinking of going public soon. I almost dropped the frame. We? You're serious? You were going to tell our boys he's their new dad? She did not answer. Just picked at her nails like the conversation bored her. Looking back, I should have seen it. The clues were everywhere. Late-night yoga. New lingerie she never wore for me. All the business trips she suddenly needed alone. One night, I found a hotel receipt in her coat. 2 nights, downtown. King Suite. When I asked, she claimed it was a spa weekend with her sister. I wanted to believe her. Needed to. But she had been slipping away for months, and I was too blind to face it. I walked into the hallway and dug through the junk drawer. Found her old phone buried under expired coupons and dead batteries. She said it was broken. I charged it. Took less than a minute to unlock. What I saw made my stomach twist. Photos. Videos. Messages. I miss your hands. Noden's gone. Come over. I can't stop thinking about last night. And then, the worst of it. A video. In our bed. The one I slept in. Sheets I bought. Her, whispering into Delson's ear. He has no idea. It makes it kind of exciting. My hand shook, not from rage, but heartbreak. She had not just cheated. She had savored it. When I came back into the living room, she was still there, arms crossed. You saw it? She asked. I nodded. And I hope he pulls through, I said quietly. So he remembers exactly what I did to him. She smirked. You were pathetic. No, Aida. I was loyal. I loved you. I was a husband. A father. And you? You're just a story I'll have to explain to our children one day. She did not say a word. Just grabbed her purse and walked out the door. And I did not stop her. I stood there, alone, realizing the woman I married had died long ago. And I had been sleeping next to a ghost. She came back the next morning, like nothing had happened. I was sitting at the table, staring into a mug of black coffee I could not even taste. The boys were still asleep. The house felt hollow. I heard the key in the lock. She walked in, sunglasses on, dropped her purse like she had just come from brunch. I hope you cleaned up the glass, she said. That was it. No apology. No, are you all right? Just cold. You are unbelievable, I said, standing up slowly. She took off her glasses. Looked at me like I was the one crossing the line. Do not start, Noden. I am tired. I stepped closer. Tired? You were tired? You brought a stranger into our home. Let him disrespect me. In front of our children. And now I am the problem? She crossed her arms. You were the problem. Your job. Your routine. Your boring little cookouts. I needed more. More what? I said. More lies? More hotel rooms? More of that clown who thought slapping a father in front of his kids made him a man. She flinched. Barely. But I saw it. That was the first honest reaction she had shown in days. I saw everything, I said. The texts. The videos. You were not even careful. You were never supposed to see that, she muttered. But I did. And now you are in my kitchen, acting like I should apologize? She shook her head, pity in her eyes. Delson made me feel alive. You made me feel stuck. I snapped. And what about Dakota and Anoli? Did you think about them while you were busy playing dress-up in hotel rooms? Letting the poser claim to be their dad? They will adjust, she said coldly. Kids are resilient. They will see what a real man looks like. That was it. Something in me broke clean. You think he is a real man? The guy who slapped another man in front of children? Who ended up in the hospital because he could not keep his hands to himself? She blinked, but stayed silent. I stepped in close. Her perfume hit my nose, sweet, expensive, and suddenly disgusting. I took vows, Aida. I gave you my best years. I gave you my name, my sons, my soul, and you gave me betrayal. She scoffed. Spare me the speech. No. She did not get to brush it off like it was just a scheduling conflict. Like she spilled a glass of wine instead of burning our life to the ground. You did this, I told her. You broke us. And then she smiled. That smug, heartless smile. The kind that tells you someone does not feel a damn ounce of regret. Like this whole mess was just another move in some twisted game she had been playing for months. I am moving out by the end of the week, she said, like she was announcing a spa day. And I will be filing for full custody. The boys need to be with someone stable, not violent. I took a step back. You are going to try to take Dakota and Anoli from me? She turned and walked toward the stairs, not even looking at me. You better start packing, Noden. You are not going to win this. I watched her climb the steps, my whole body shaking. Not from fear. From something worse. A mix of rage and grief so thick I could barely breathe. This was not just betrayal anymore. This was a declaration of war. That night, I did not sleep. I laid in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, remembering the nights I used to fall asleep beside her, listening to her soft breathing. Now it was just silence, and a weight crushing my chest like I had been gutted and left to rot. I was not just hurt. I was hollowed out. Everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, trust was gone. She had teamed up with a stranger to destroy the only thing I had ever truly fought for. My family. I kept seeing it. The slap. That smug grin. The videos. Her saying I was the problem. Each memory punched another hole in my chest. Around 3 a.m, I walked into the kitchen, sat in the dark, pulled out my phone and opened the photo album. There we were, on the beach. Her kissing me on my birthday. Her dancing in the kitchen, flour on her nose while we made cookies with the boys. That woman? She never existed. She was a mask. A character in a show I thought was real. I kept scrolling. Then I found the photo of me holding Dakota at the hospital for the first time. I looked terrified, proud, alive with purpose. I remembered telling myself in that moment that no matter what happened, I would protect my sons. But how do you protect them from their own mother? The next morning, I made pancakes. Chocolate chip, Noah's favorite. He barely touched them. Is mommy okay? Dakota asked, chewing slowly. I looked him in the eyes, forced a smile. She is okay, buddy. She just needs some space. He nodded, but I saw it in his face. The questions. The confusion. Kids know. They always do. He had seen the slap, heard the shouting. Everything had changed for them too. Later that afternoon, I called Elon, my best friend since college. He had been the best man at our wedding. When I told him what happened, he went silent. She cheated on you, in your home? He asked. Yeah. And the guy hit you in front of your boys? Yeah. He sighed. That is evil. You all right? He asked. No, I said. Not even close. We sat in silence a while. Then he said something that hit deep. You loved her more than you loved yourself, Noden. That is why it hurts so bad. You forgot you had the right to walk away. And he was right. I had explained away every cold stare, every distant mood swing, every late-night yoga class. I blamed stress. Kids. Work. Hormones. Everything except the truth. I believed if I just gave her more love, more effort, she would come back to me. But you cannot outlove a traitor. That night I sat out on the porch, watching the sun go down. The air was cold, but I barely felt it. I was not mourning just a marriage. I was grieving the man I used to be, the one who believed in forever, who thought loyalty could fix anything. It could not. And as the last light disappeared, I knew one thing with certainty. This pain would not kill me, but it would change me forever. 2 days after everything went down, she was still in the house. Not because she wanted to fix anything, she was just stalling, acting like she still had control. She hardly looked at the boys, walked around like a ghost in lipstick. But I was done playing nice. I set 2 mugs of coffee on the table and waited. She walked in wearing one of those silk robes she used to wear back when we still felt like us. Back when movie nights meant something. Now it just felt like a costume. Sit down, I said. She hesitated. Then Saturday, if this is another guilt trip, spare me. I said nothing. Just slid a folder across the table. Legal papers. Divorce. Custody arrangements. All of it. She blinked. What is this? I am done, I said. You made your choice. Now I am making mine. She flipped through the pages like it was a prank, then looked at me with that fake little pout. You were really going to break up our family over a mistake? I leaned in. No. A mistake is forgetting a birthday. This was a plan. You brought him into our home. You let him put his hands on me in front of my sons. I stared her dead in the eye. That was not a mistake. That was betrayal. She crossed her arms, leaning back. You don't have the guts to take me to court. Try me, I said. Her eyes went cold. I'll ruin you. I'll take the boys. No, Aida. You won't. I already hired a lawyer. I have the footage from the doorbell camera. I have the texts. I have statements from neighbors. And more importantly, I have the truth. I am the one who has been raising them, bathing them, tucking them in. You? You are just the woman who walks in smelling like some other man. I saw it, the crack in her armor. She had not expected this version of me, the one with nothing left to lose. You think you're strong now, she hissed. Wait until you are alone. You will come crawling back. I stood. No, I said. I'll be rebuilding. That same day, I packed up her things. Box by box. She screamed. She cried. She even laughed, called me pathetic. I did not stop. I felt nothing. The love I had for her had burned out. All that was left was duty. To my sons. To myself. To whatever came next. The next morning, she was gone. No goodbye. No note. Just a text. Tell the boys I'll call when I'm ready. Coward. I sat Dakota and Anoli down. Told them the truth, or at least the kind they could understand. Mommy and I will not be living together anymore, I said softly. But I love you both. And I am here. Always. Dakota nodded. Noah just hugged me. Tight. Maybe for him, it was the end of the world. That night, I stood in the doorway of their room and watched them sleep. I knew what was ahead: custody hearings, court dates, hard questions. But for the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. The storm had passed. Now it was time to rebuild. That first week without her was like learning to breathe again. Every room echoed with a silence I was not used to. Her perfume still hung in the curtains. Her shoes were gone, but the marks they left in the carpet stayed like ghosts. I started putting things back together. Slowly. Changed the locks, not out of hate, but for peace of mind. Painted the hallway where she used to lean and message him, pretending it was just Instagram. I flipped the mattress. Burned the sheets. I did not want a single thread left carrying the memory of her betrayal. This was not rage anymore. It was cleansing. The boys started adjusting. A little more each day. Dakota stopped staring out the window during dinner. Noah stopped crying when she missed her weekend calls. And she did miss them. 3 in a row. Always an excuse. Busy. Bad service. I'll make it up to them. She never did. I started therapy. Dr. Gray. Former Marine. Quiet. No nonsense. He listened. Then gave it to me straight. She did not betray you because you were lacking, he told me during our second session. She did it because something inside her is broken. People like that thrive in chaos. You were just the meal she chose. It hit hard. Because it was true. And because for too long, I blamed myself. Maybe if I had opened my eyes sooner, maybe I could have seen it coming. But the truth is, some people destroy good things just to prove they can. One evening, I was out on the back porch with Elon, my best friend since we were kids. The one who stayed close when everyone else kept their distance. He brought over a couple of beers. We didn't say much for the first 30 minutes. Just watched the sun sink behind the trees and let the quiet do the talking. Has she tried to come back yet? He asked finally. Not yet. He nodded slowly. She will. They always do. Especially when they find out the next guy ain't some fairy tale either. I did not answer. I already knew Delson had skipped town. Word was he left right after the hospital discharged him. No charges. No press. No apology. Just vanished like a coward with his tail tucked. And the funny thing? I did not even hate him anymore. He was just the symptom. She was the disease. That night, I laughed. Not because something was funny, but because for the first time in a long time, the weight started to lift. I was still standing, still breathing, still here, fighting for my boys. And I realized something else too. The worst day of my life, the day she slapped me in front of our kids, humiliated me in our home, was also the day I got free. Because once someone shows you who they really are, and you finally believe it, that is when healing begins. I was not healed yet, but I was not broken either. I was rebuilding, brick by brick. And this time, I would make damn sure the foundation was made of something that could not be faked. It was a Wednesday morning. I was trying to get the boys ready for school. Dakota could not find his other sneaker, and Anoli had spilled orange juice all over the kitchen counter. We were late, again. And the house was a mess of noise and cereal and backpacks. But it was our mess. Honest. Real. Then the doorbell rang. I opened it, and there she was. Aida. Standing like nothing had happened. Like she had not blown our world apart just weeks earlier. She was dressed neat, too, a beige coat, her blue dress underneath. The same one she wore the night I proposed. Hair curled. Makeup just right. Like she had practiced this moment in a mirror over and over. Noden, she said softly. Her voice trembled, eyes wet with pretend remorse. Can we talk? The boys peeked around the corner. Inoli whispered, Mommy. She smiled at them. That same practice smile she had used to sell 1,000 lies. Hi, baby. I missed you. I held the door halfway open. What do you want, Aida? She gave me that look. The one she always used when she was trying to spin the story her way. Just a few minutes. Please. I told the boys to finish getting ready and stepped outside, pulling the door closed behind me. She folded her arms, lowered her voice. I messed up. I know I did. I stared at her. Took you long enough. I thought I knew what I wanted, she said, voice cracking just enough to sound real. Delson made me feel alive. And I mistook that for love. I said nothing. Let her keep talking. But he is gone. And I have had time to think. You are a good man, Noden. A great father. I want to come back. There it was. The return. I almost laughed. You think this is a movie? I said, calm but sharp. You cheat. You drag me through hell in front of our kids. And now that your boy toy vanished, you want to just come back. Her face stiffened. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am asking for a second chance. For the boys, at least. For them. I repeated. You missed every call. You skipped your visits. Do you know what Anoli asked me last week? He asked if you were dead. Because that made more sense to him than a mom who just disappears. Tears filled her eyes. But I was past being moved. I will fight for custody, she said, voice shaking. You know I will. Then fight, I said. But bring more than a blue dress and crocodile tears. I have everything, texts, videos, hospital reports. You lost the right to call the shots when you let another man lay hands on me in front of our boys. She looked like I had hit her. I never stopped loving you, she whispered. That was the final straw. I stepped closer, looked her straight in the eyes. You loved the idea of me, Aida. The version that paid the bills, smiled for family photos, played along. But real love? It does not cheat. It does not bring another man into the house and call him dad in front of your children. You didn't love me, I said. You used me. She opened her mouth. But nothing came out. Just silence. I opened the front door. You want to talk again? Call your lawyer. Until then, stay away from my kids. And I shut the door behind me. Locked it. For good. Back inside, Inoli looked up at me. His eyes wide. Is mommy coming in? I knelt beside him. Put a hand on his shoulder. No, buddy. Mommy has some things to figure out. He nodded slowly. I gave him a hug. I'm right here. And I'm not going anywhere. And for the first time in a long time, I am really here. Present. Grounded. It has been 3 months since I closed the door on Aida for good. The court granted me primary custody. She did not fight nearly as hard as she claimed she would. Maybe somewhere deep down, she knew that whatever grip she used to have on me was gone. Maybe she finally realized what everyone else already saw. Her power only worked when I still cared. But I do not. Not anymore. Dakota sleeps through the night now. Inoli laughs again. Real belly laughs. Not the kind kids used to mask confusion and fear. We have a rhythm. School in the mornings. Homework in the evenings. Family dinner around the table. Movie nights every Friday. I never knew peace could feel this strange after living in chaos so long. Silence used to make me anxious. Now, I am learning to trust it. One evening, I sat out on the porch while the boys chased fireflies across the yard. Their laughter floated through the warm air like music, soft and sweet. And for once, I was not waiting for the next disaster. I was just there. A little later, Elon pulled into the driveway. No text. No warning. Just like always, he showed up with 2 cold beers, sat down in the chair next to me, and cracked his open. So, he said, with that crooked grin, you ever gonna date again? Or are you officially the wise old monk of the neighborhood? I laughed. A real laugh. Not the kind you fake to be polite. One crisis at a time, brother. He nodded. Good. Don't rush it. You have been to hell and back. Enjoy the quiet. And I have been. Through the fire, through the wreckage. But I have also been thinking. A lot. Picking through the pieces. Trying to understand what happened, and more importantly, why it hit me so hard. You do not come out of something like that the same man you were going in. You either break apart, or you break open. For a long time, I blamed myself. Thought maybe I was not enough, not exciting enough, not wealthy enough, not romantic enough. Thought maybe real love meant bleeding for someone, even when they were the ones holding the knife. But that is not love. That is self-erasure. And the real lesson? Do not apologize for being loyal to the wrong person. Apologize to yourself for staying too long. Aida was not just a bad decision. She was a mirror. She reflected back everything I needed to fix inside me, my fear of confrontation, my tendency to make excuses, my belief that loving someone meant saving them, no matter the cost to myself. I will not make that mistake again. And if you were reading this, if you were where I was, lying awake at night wondering what you did wrong, looking into the eyes of someone you would take a bullet for only to find out they were aiming at you, then hear this. You are not the problem. You are not weak because you love deeply. You are not broken. They are. And when they leave, or when you find the strength to walk away, do not chase closure. Create it. Piece by piece. Day by day. Start with the little wins. Make your bed. Cook dinner. Take your kids to the park. Look yourself in the mirror and remind that reflection, the version of you who survived betrayal, is stronger than the one who thought love had to hurt. That is the lesson I learned when Aida walked out. That is the man I have become since she left. Not bitter. Not broken. Rebuilt. As for her, last I heard, Delson never came back. She tried dating someone new. It lasted a few weeks, maybe less. Word is, she is already burning bridges she has not even reached yet. But that is not my story anymore. Mine ends here, on a quiet porch, under a calm sky, with two boys chasing fireflies, and a man who finally remembered who he was before she ever tried to rewrite him.